this is Sean here from Pro CV. We are just going to go through some tips and suggestions to write a cover letter. I just want to cover some basics because if you don't get the basics right, it can mean that you don't get a call back. Okay, the cover letter. It needs to cover, hence why it's called a cover letter, the core aspects of your CV, your experience, sometimes your education. It just depends how relevant it is to the role. Name, address, contact details on right side. Underneath, if you have them, sometimes you won't, you can have the name, contact details of the potential recruiter or employer. If you go down, this can be extremely important, and it can actually be the difference between getting the job and not getting the job. If you read the job description carefully, usually there's a reference number of some sort, and also there's the job title. You may or may not know it, but when you're emailing in a job application, it could be going straight to the HR department. Now, some HR departments have one or two people working there, and some, especially with companies like Facebook, Google, the big pharma companies, they could have 150 people working, 200 people, 300 people working in the HR department, and they won't bother reading through your cover letter and your CV to find out who to forward it to, unless you have a reference number on it. So put the reference number there, put the job title there. Certainly a lot of people have lost out on getting callbacks because they didn't do that. Okay, now if you have the name of the recruiter, of the person in the recruitment agency or of the employer, put it down. If you don't, sometimes it can be appropriate to email them or to call them to find out the name. Not always necessary, but in my own view, and views differ, the more personable you have the cover letter, the better. So try and find out the name. If not, just put there Sir Madam. Now, just before I forget, if you have the name, always sign off with yours sincerely. If you don't have the name, put yours faithfully. Simple rule. Okay, that's basically the core aspects, or the rules, should I say, of the cover letter. Now, I'm just going to read this cover letter for you. With 15 plus years experience working in sales management roles as head of sales and marketing and as a senior account manager, I have the ability to network across the industry, generating commercial growth and sales in order to drive profitability and increase key account numbers. This wasn't just some random sentence that came out of nowhere. In the job description online, they needed, well, one of the requirements was senior account management experience. So the first sentence of the cover letter is all about experience, management, head of. So it seems very obvious, but you need to keyword and put power verbs in from the get-go. Nobody, and I see it frequently, likes a big long introduction. Sometimes clients put in about what they can't do. So they'd start with, even though I don't have this experience, and they go down, and it's gone before they even start. So lead with your strengths. Don't be afraid to be overconfident. Don't be afraid to fill the first paragraph up with power verbs. So let's continue. I also understand all elements of contract negotiation, sales management, and purchasing, especially in relation to dealing with revenue issues and ensuring maximum profitability across all product ranges. That is basically your introductory sales speech. Many of the keywords that they had on the job description are included in there. So why wouldn't they read on? Why wouldn't they be interested? You're matching your skills with their requirements. Again, sounds very simple, but so many people miss out on it. Okay, now we're getting on to specifics, and this is really important. Not always necessary, but when it comes to sales, it is very important. In my current role, I have coordinated and led the sales team to record sales figures and growth, overseeing a 22% rise in turnover by formulating a new sales system and reintroducing monthly training for all sales personnel. I have also managed to cut transport costs by 32%, increase sales figures by 14%, and trained in a new sales and customer service team. Okay. If you were a potential employer reading this, would it be positive? Would it be negative? To be fair, if you've read the job description properly, they'd nearly give you a call back on that alone. That's the importance of a good cover letter. You've covered everything they're looking for. Absolutely everything they're looking for. So we go down. In my daily work, I have developed effective financial management and people management skills and have enjoyed significant success in growing turnover in line with targets. I tend to put in targets a lot when it comes to sales. I don't try to overdo it, but probably the most important aspect of any business development, sales role, sales management role is that you've hit targets. The targets are your numero uno priority at all times. So let's continue. I was also part of the management team that drove the business plan to replace lost revenue, implementing a cost-cutting plan, reducing transport costs, and developing new accounts. As a result, I have been awarded Sales Manager of the Year 2006, 2008, and 2011. So, again, selling, 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 selling. Okay, so, and then you just finish off by mentioning your education and stating that you're open to upskilling and relearning at all times. Usually, when you get a sales management role or a business development role, many of the companies that you will be working for have their own in-house courses and their own way of doing things. So, and then you just close off. I'm very enthusiastic about the post because of my long-standing interest in Apple and the possibility of working with emerging products, technologies, and software with a global leader and innovator. Additionally, I believe, sorry guys, I'm just writing this now. Additionally, I believe that I can be a core part of the sales team at Apple. Okay. And then don't try and get too crazy or too fancy with the sign off. Just standardize it. I have enclosed a copy of my curriculum vitae for your perusal, and I am available for an interview at your convenience. Okay, that seems to be finished. I look forward to hearing from you. Yours sincerely, and obviously these are made up names. So there you go.